by.
This is Ben Television. My name is Kayode Ogundamisi. It's your program, Politics with KO, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Thursdays on this channel, Sky 182. Don't miss the debates by Nigerians and friends of Nigeria on issues surrounding Nigeria from around the world. My name is Kayode Ogundamisi. Good evening. My name is Kayode Ogundamisi, and it's your program Politics with KO. I just don't know how to start this program, but I am really upset, and I would expect every Nigerian with a conscience to be upset about what is happening in our dear country. I mean, how can a part of Nigeria face continuous massacre by a group of senseless, vicious, heartless, mindless, gun-toting individuals? Hold a whole population into ransom. From 2003 till date, millions are just held in bondage in their own country. I mean, in Maiduguri, in Borno State, and most parts of northern Nigeria, today, life is hell. I mean, the international media talk about crisis in Darfur, crisis in Afghanistan, but what is happening in Nigeria is actually a disgrace to the international community. That a group of terrorists would hold a country into ransom, kill senselessly, and the Nigerian president would continue to trivialize these issues as if it's business as usual. I mean, it is a blight on the conscience of every Nigerian, and we must not let this continue. President Goodluck Jonathan must come to terms with what is happening in our country. 25 girls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 young girls were kidnapped in Maiduguri and taken away into the bush as sex slaves. And all the president of Nigeria can tell Nigerians is that it could have been worse. We should be ashamed of ourselves as a country. You see, tonight's show is going to be about Boko Haram and the national question. I don't care Odua is sacked. What I'm concerned about today is how, as a country, we would allow mindless, senseless terrorists hold our country to ransom, and the president voted 1 trillion naira. 1 trillion naira on security. And all we are talking about is them in the north. Good for them. It is a shame on our country. And tonight, I'm bringing someone into the studio who is from Maiduguri, Borno State, Alhaji Garba Sani, and Afenifere Chairman, Honorable Wale Osun, because we need to have this conversation. We need to ask ourselves, is it about the national question? Let me introduce to you Alhaji Garba Sani. You're welcome to Politics with KO.
Thank you very much, Kayode.
And Honorable Osun, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Kayode.
I'll start with you. You're from Maiduguri. How do you feel as a Nigerian with what is happening in our country, especially from your home state?
It's actually, words cannot actually express the feeling. You can only explain what you believe can be comprehensible by others who have not been subjected to that sort of senseless atrocities. But really, we have been suffering in Maiduguri. We have been suffering this bondage for quite some time now. And when it started in earnest, 2009, 2010, 2011, all we hear is, okay, there is some commotion going on in the northeastern part of the country and no government intervention or even support or even appreciation of the level of it is. Then all of a sudden there was a bomb somewhere in Abuja in the police headquarters, and then they woke up to the idea, oops, it actually could come to our doors as well. And then they started making some moves which apparently seem to be serious moves to deal with the issue. But of course, it hasn't been dealt with, simply because the two major things in fighting a war of this nature were lacking. One, serious commitment, especially political commitment, to deal with the issue was not there. And not only that, the actual apparatus, the ammunition, the people, the soldiers that would be fully armed to go and deal with the issue were really not there on time and where they need to be. And therefore, people in Maiduguri, including myself, feel that really we are left on our own to deal with our own issues up to now, even under the state of emergency that we are supposedly under, which has been extended. And possibly when May comes, they will say, oops, we haven't dealt with the issue, we extend the emergency. And then political questions come in. Why? Why, for God's sake, this thing happening in our own country, and yet we're not fully supported? Okay. So the people in Maiduguri are absolutely disappointed and angry, and really we deserve more. Okay.
Honorable Osun, you live in Nigeria. You're from the southern part, southwest Nigeria. You've been a lawmaker in the country. Have we not failed the people of northern Nigeria, that we just leave them to their fate? We just feel, you know what, it's not happening anywhere lower of the River Niger, so they can mind their business. Are we not failing our fellow countrymen?
That will not. I would think that what has happened is that as a people, well, we have failed the country. The government has failed the ordinary Nigerian. Yeah. Then the people themselves, we have failed ourselves. And I want to look at this issue from what is the origin of Boko Haram? Yeah. How did it start? What nurtured it? And how did it get to this level? And when you talk of the extent, are we saying for a moment that it would have been possible for a gang of murderers to be roaming the streets on a consistent level, with the armed forces stating categorically, one, they declared a state of emergency, and then you find that many times the armed forces give the impression that they are involved in the fight against the terrorism, but you find that all the time Boko Haram always has the upper hand. Now, so the issue to ask is it possible in any conventional warfare for an area to be so subsumed in violence, and then the army is unable to do anything, and then the people, without the people supporting, you know, the violence, or the people supporting the conflagration that has started. I think those are the real issues. I
will bring this to Alhaji Sani. One of the arguments we've heard from the Jonathan side, especially supporters of President Jonathan, is that people in Maiduguri or people in the northern part of Nigeria support this insurgency indirectly. If they don't support them, they should have fished them out. How would someone from that area, what is the feeling of people on the ground? Do they really support this insurgency?
Well, whoever claims that we support what is going on in our midst, we support killing ourselves, we support killing our women, killing our children, and killing our youth, and subjecting us to this sort of level of atrocity, really has no common sense about what it means to support an issue or a situation. What they might be referring to at the beginning was when the soldiers were initially sent to Maiduguri, 2012, 2011 partly. The soldiers who went there were completely alien people in the midst of the situation. What they were doing actually was not dealing with the issue that they were sent to deal with. They were dealing with the common man on the street, common person in his own house or in their own houses. Any element of spark of a bomb or a detonator anywhere, the people around where that happens really run for their lives because the soldiers will come and deal with them. And so how could you be friendly to somebody who is supposedly coming to save your life, but at the same time is after your life and after your honor and your property?
Okay, let me take this question, Honorable Osun. Let me ask you this question. You are Yoruba from the Southwest. Honestly, tell me, if this had been happening in the Southwest, what would have been the reaction, or any part of the South?
No, but the issue is this. Fundamentally, you have a problem that should be solved.
Yeah.
And I dare say at this stage that if you have the kind of insurgency that you have on that scale that we have it, and spreading across the country, you know, at the speed with which it is spreading, there's definitely no reason not to expect that at one point in time it could cross River Niger and get into the Southwest or get into the Southeast. In fact, there was a time that there was a scare that across River Niger, the elements of Boko Haram, their supporters, had in fact infiltrated, you know, below River Niger. So there is no part of the country that can say that it is reasonably, you know, safe from what is happening. But then the issue to ask is this, that is there a statement being made by this insurgency?
Okay.
Is there a statement being made by the militancy that took place before in the South-South? Is there a statement being made by the kidnappers that rampaged the Southeast and part of, you know, the old Midwestern region? Is there a statement being made?
Okay, before then, I would want my producer Tony to get a clip ready, because we've got a Boko Haram tape where they captured Nigerian army ammunition. They actually raided a barrack, got rid of, and they had the effrontery to actually display these ammunitions. So I would want us to just watch briefly, what Boko Haram, and Alhaji Sani, because they speak in Hausa, if you could just tell us after watching, just give us an idea of what they're saying. Viewers, we want you to see this.
Da ya ba mu wannan ayyuka ba don komai ba, don taimakon addininsa, kuma ba wani hikimar mu bane, wannan taimakon Allah ne. Kamar da kuke ganin kayan nan, alhamdulillah kun gani wannan abubuwa, alhamdulillah muna godiya ga Allah, Allah ya ƙara. Alhamdulillah wannan ba akwai ina bane muka samu. Kai dama wannan ɗin mun so min tabi ne, insha Allah. Dama mun gane mun jarraba su mun gani ashe kai masu riga sun karye. Inna ma zalikum ash-shaytan yukhawwifu awliya. Allah ne faɗa gaskiya ne. Alhamdulillah Allah ya sa sun gudu. Kuma gashi Allah ya azurta addinin su da wannan abu. Alhamdulillah. Mun gode wa Allah. Allah ya ƙara azurta mu da irin wannan ko fiye da haka ma. Amin. Ga sunan wasu kaya, mu je wancan kaya manya-manyan su gani, ga sunan barkate, ba za ma mu gaya muku adadin su ba saboda kar ku sani, Allah da ya ba mu jiyawa. Ka ɗauka mana wannan bullet ɗin, ɗauka mana. Wannan duka akwai a ciki ba? Ga sunan insha Allah sun kai 30,000 haka. Allah ya ba addininsa. Kafirci karshen ka ya zo. Insha Allah. Kafirci karshen ka ya zo. Insha Allah. Allahu akbar. 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 وقل جاء الحق وذاق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا mun gode wa Allah alhamdulillah Allah ya kawo ƙarshen ƙarfi a duniya insha Allah gashi na wannan ina buɗaɗɗen ne ba ka sauran ba ne a ina buɗaɗɗen Allahu akbar in ga wani abin da ake ciki ga Allah abin da ya kawo shine wannan abubuwan alhamdulillah mun gode wa Allah wannan bule ne na AK47 Allah ya ƙara amin wannan kuma gashi nan kuma Allah ya kawo su lafiya ƙalau gashi wannan Allahu akbar Allahu akbar Allahu akbar Allahu akbar Allah ya ba addinin sa shi ma insha Allah Allahu akbar wannan kelas kuma Allah ya ba addinin sa insha Allah Allahu akbar Allahu akbar Allahu akbar Allahu akbar Allah ya ba addinin sa insha Allah da sunan assalamu alaikum ga wata sanarwa zuwa matasa musulmai kowa ya nemi agajin Allah ya yi addinin Allah kar ya mutu ya koma ga Allah a zamanin da Allah ya sa kana raye a duniya ana yaƙi don ɗaukaka kalmar Allah gashi kuma yadda muke gani Allah yake ci gaba da addininsa gashi yadda muke gani yadda kafirci yake komawa ƙasa baka ba da ranka da jininka don samun aljanna ba kar ka mutu ka je ka shiga wuta ka ba da ranka da dukiyanka da lokaci.
You're welcome back. Now, that is a clip of Boko Haram militants taking over an army barrack and capturing ammunition. Not just that, they destroyed 5 fighter jets belonging to the Nigerian Air Force. I mean, it's almost impossible to believe that in the Nigeria of 2013, even during the Civil War, Biafra War, Biafra was they were only able to bring down 2 Nigerian planes. And we have some thugs taking control of a Nigerian barrack, destroying fighter jets. Honorable Osun, we voted 1 trillion naira on security. Are we not supposed to be calling people to question?
Yeah, well, when you say some thugs, I of course, this is not a matter to smile about. Yeah. But you must appreciate one thing, that there is some element of professional grounding that you can see what Boko Haram is doing. Yeah. And you cannot rule out, and I say this with a lot of seriousness, yeah. That country belongs to all of us. Yeah. You cannot rule out that they have managed to succeed this far, that there is no element of support. Yeah. What I then mean to say is that you have a country that is crying aloud, all the sections of the country, whether it is Boko Haram or Niger Delta militants or people from the southwest, crying aloud.
Okay, before I let Alhaji Sani come in, I want to read out some text message, and I've got. He also lacks ability to govern in a diverse country. That's Dan from London. And we've got a caller on the line. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Harram from Birmingham.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, you see, this Boko Haram thing is a serious problem, to be honest. I live in the north for over 40 years.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I was came back from the north. That area, secondly, you believe that it's possible. I believe that people around. My friend say, look at how people to have the money. This will have the experience closer. I've told you, I've never had it in my life. I'm quite happy to that you have to take that to me. No petty. You will never have to change the picture. You take up the same soldier. You stay on your second, and take it up the second.
Okay. All right. So I understand you're very, and I'm actually trying to control myself now. I'm really upset. And thanks for your call, because I want other callers to come in. And Honorable Osun, how can we? I know we are going to treat the national question part of this debate, but what can we do? You know, the government is failing. Even the local media, SSS called editors into a
target.
Okay, just 1 minute before Honorable Osun, I've got another caller. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Germany. I'm calling from Düsseldorf.
Okay, go ahead, please. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Igwe Shooks.
Okay, Shooks, go ahead and make your contribution.
Yes, my conclusion is that you represented the man from Borno State to explain to us in Hausa what these people were saying, because we have to not even understand what they were saying, so that we can be able to pick out why they are fighting.
Okay.
So I think it's very important to explain to us.
Just hold on there, because you're calling from Germany. I want Alhaji Sani. Can you tell us what they were saying in that video?
What they were saying, initially, of course, they were saying, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, that's God is great, God is great.
Yeah.
But then they are showing the ammunition, that God has given us this ammunition. Okay. God has been kind to us. God knows our fight is a religious fight, and He's arming us through this. And this huge ammunition, we capture it from the army. And the army barracks, they mentioned Mongono army barracks. And that they were not even resisting our attempt, and we managed to just crush them.
Okay, Shooks, you got that interpretation. What's your comment, please?
Yes, my comment.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm looking at Nigeria. I'm so disappointed with our Nigerian military, and our president has never considered it as a very big issue.
Okay.
So, which means if we are asking for outside intervention to be able to help us, because I believe that Nigerian citizens, no matter from the southeast or from the north, nobody is safe.
Okay.
So we are present in the southeast with kidnapping cases, and we have been living there in Germany for 20 years. And I'm too scared to go to Nigeria, because I'm not safe to go there.
All right, great.
What I'm trying to say is, what are these people fighting for?
Okay.
And what can be done?
Okay, go ahead. Okay, thank you, Shooks. I want our next caller to quickly come in. Good evening. You're welcome to Politics with KO. Good evening. Hello, good evening. Okay, we lost that call.
What is here is this. Yeah. If we have to make certain admissions, are these persons properly trained?
Yeah.
Hold
on, please. Just hold on.
Are they properly trained? Where do they get the ammunitions from, that they get? And then if the issue is that, well, we've caught or we've got these ammunitions and that we were not even resisted, are you talking of collaboration within the armed forces that are collaborating with the terrorists? And then you talk of this is a religious issue. And when you now talk of a religious issue, is it because they properly believe that they are entitled to have a theocratic state?
Okay.
I mean, because these are fundamental issues.
Okay. Before
fundamental issues.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Loretta Nochias. I'm calling from London.
All right, go ahead, Loretta.
My question is very simple. Some time ago, a young man was picked up in Kano with a bag containing some bombs on his way to bombing a church. And his name was Augustine Ekion.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm asking is this. There were other people with southern names who were picked up during this period, bombing churches with bags of bombs.
Yeah.
What happened to them? Why have they not been tried? Who paid them? Have they been released? Where are they? Because these are fundamental questions Nigerians are asking, and I want to know particularly what the government has been doing in bringing the people that have been apprehended regarding this crime to justice.
Absolutely. Thank you, Loretta. It's true that we've had reports of Yoruba people from Shaki, an Ijo man, an Igbo man, also caught in relation with Boko Haram. Is Boko Haram ideology that you think is spreading outside places in the northern region?
Absolutely not.
And the Honorable Osun also mentioned the religious angle. Do they represent Islam?
Absolutely no. For the two questions. One is not their ideology spreading. It's because a lot of people wear their gown to act atrocities, yeah, and then claim that is Boko Haram.
Yeah.
Be it criminals or those who have grudges against whatever, yeah, and also conspirators, people who, because in that part of the country, yeah, in Borno State in particular, yeah, and Yobe, yeah, generally people believe that there are some people up there that are actually after the Borno State people, and therefore committing atrocities in order to subdue them. Okay. So it's not a question of ideology spreading or their representation.
Okay, before I want to take this call. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Italy. My name is Jonas.
You're calling from Italy?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Please, my contribution is this. I want to ask you one question. Like the very gentleman who was saying that the issue of Boko Haram is the inability of the military to control the Nigerian territory.
Yeah.
Can't we see the issue of Boko Haram? As you know, a general problem. This is a global problem. Like when you look at the issue of Kenya, yeah, and the problem of Somalia. Okay. You know, these are religious groups. In a form of Muslim that are trying to, you know, they want to a kind of raise their system of ruling. They are using political system to bring problems to several countries. Okay. Like I also say, Boko Haram or not Boko Haram, let's understand the problem of Al-Qaeda. Okay. These are the same religious group. Okay. Then you look at the problem of Al-Shabaab. Yeah. These are the different system of Islamic groups that are operating in a different nation, okay, like Kenya, and a country like Somalia. Okay. So we cannot see the problem of
Boko. Okay, thanks. I want to just read out some text messages so that we won't cut out those. There's been quite a number of text messages coming in on this show, and it shows that people are passionate about this issue. I've got Emeka saying the current crisis in the northeast of Nigeria has got to do with lack of intelligence. I cannot see the defeat of Boko Haram in the nearest future. He's saying that because our military are not gathering enough intelligence on the activities of this terrorist group. I've got another text message. National conference is the way forward. The Southwest and Northern people connived to massacre innocent people during the Civil War. This is a way. This is a payback, and that's the way some people actually see it. We need to get the Western powers intervention immediately. That's another text message. You see, Honorable Osun, why is it that we want to? I want to link it to the national question now. Some people are suggesting maybe we just need to divide Nigeria and let the Northerners deal with their problem.
No. We don't. Nobody is saying we should divide Nigeria. Yeah. But that Nigerians have a right, yeah, within the ambit of their own locality, yeah, to determine what pays them most. For instance, if there is a desire to have a theocratic state
in the north,
not in the whole north really, but in parts of Nigeria, it depends on where they are. Okay. Some might prefer secular states, yeah, others might prefer theocratic states. Now, if they prefer theocratic states, because it could be a solution, yeah, then what you could do is that let us come to the table, okay, and then we look at these fundamental issues. Okay. In your own area, you can have theocratic if you choose, and we can have secular. Another area can have secular if it chooses.
If we have these different...
and then there will still be a federal government where there are federating units. Yeah. But the federating units will reserve the right, yeah, as to the form of government, whether it is parliamentary, yeah, or regional, yeah, and the other part can decide, yeah, to go presidential, depending, okay, having a governor elected from across the whole
Before Sani comes, I want the caller to hold on, I'm going to have you. Yeah. Do you believe that if we have a confederal state, if we have regional government, it will be at least a way to solve these other problems that we're having in the country?
The Boko Haram issue has nothing to do with whether Nigeria should be divided or some kind of division to emerge. Boko Haram issue is a manifestation of a social injustice in the country all across. It's a criminal activity that permeates every part of the country. We had the Niger Delta militants. Would we say then they should go their way because there is militancy there? Or the Oduduwa Republic sometimes when the Lagos was almost on fire? So why is it now that the question of the nation comes up because Boko Haram is happening in the
But it's always been there. What the issue that we are talking about is that fundamentally people must be able, because we are different people in terms of religion, culture, and custom, so we should be able at some point in time to say, let areas with peculiar differences, determine, maybe after a referendum. For instance, you may decide that the whole of the Northeast may decide after a referendum that this is the form of government we would like to have. And then the whole of the Southeast may decide after a referendum. Once we've gone all through, we can then have a federal government in the middle, which all the federating units contribute to.
Okay. Before I've got a caller. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from, sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, please, because we're running out of time. Go ahead, please.
Yes, briefly, I think the problem of Boko Haram is in Nigeria because majority of people from the north are sympathizers of their cause.
Okay, because you've made that statement, Elijah Sani is in the studio and he's saying that's not true, isn't it?
Absolutely. No. It has changed. It has changed faces from the beginning of the crisis right through to this time. When it started, the army that were sent there to protect the people were actually killing ordinary people. And ordinary people were saying, get out and go away, leave us with our Boko Haram, because the Boko Haram atrocity is not as much as the army atrocity.
Okay,
so it was the army who are causing the commotion rather than the Boko Haram.
To the caller, how did you come to the conclusion that people in the north are supporting elements that are killing them because they are not like coming out?
You see, the Elijah Sani there, Elijah Sani is just making a reference to the Niger Delta militants now.
Yeah.
When Niger Delta militants were at the forefront, people from the south were condemning their crusade.
Okay.
So for these people from the north, like Elijah Sani, believe these people are the vanguard fighting their cause.
Okay, before I just want to point out to you, do you know quite a number of sheikhs and clerics had been murdered by Boko Haram for condemning Boko Haram? I can tell you 9. I can name 9. One was still recently.
Yeah. And you are telling me 9 sheikhs have been killed.
Yeah.
Majority of them, even the educated elites, are the sympathizers of their cause. That's why the problem is existing.
You're just making a claim without making any facts about your claim. There has been so many Muslims that were killed by Boko Haram rather than any other.
Let me get Honorable Osun. Let me bring Honorable Osun.
Actually, I need to say this. I mean, Boko Haram or their supporters made attempts to kill the emir in Maiduguri and in Kano. So really, nobody is safe from this assault. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian. But the issue that one can say, there is of course the question of social injustice in terms of the gap between the rich, the very rich and the very poor. I mean, all these breed insurrections. But the truth also is that is it possible for a ragtag army, as you say, are they not properly trained? Where are the equipment?
Hold on, please. Hold on.
So where are the weapons coming from? Who is funding the weapons? So because these are some of the issues.
Okay. Let me quickly take this call. Good evening. Where are you calling from, please?
Yes, I'm calling from Belgium.
All right. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I want to put a question to the gentleman there.
Okay, which of them, please?
I think Mr. Sani is the name there.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Sani is here. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Sani, please. I want to say something to Mr. Sani.
Yes.
I want Mr. Sani to know that he said it in Nigeria. Huh?
Yeah.
You are a Nigerian and you went to primary school in Nigeria. The question asks, what is it that when you people talk every time, you always talk about people from the north, people from the south, Niger Delta problem? When the Niger Delta problem was there, the point is that there were people who were saying that the money was misspent in the country.
Okay.
Now, we're talking about the so-called Boko Haram. We are Nigerians. Because nobody wants to say the fact. The fact is, the Boko Haram, what is it represent? Is it because the Southerners is a president of Nigeria?
Okay, great. That's a point.
Because your interest? Okay, answer that question and then because sometimes I think we have to stop saying that we are from the north, this
Okay.
is from the south.
Let me quick.
Talk about Nigeria.
Let's allow Sani. Is it that okay? Before then, is it because Jonathan is a president from the south that this is happening? That's the point he's making.
Unfortunately, the president himself has not helped matters since he came to power. In fact, before he came to power, even during his campaign, unfortunately, he has brought divisions and upon divisions, religious, sectional, tribal, and even political. And whatever he touches actually gets disintegrated. We have never in our lives been so divided as we are in this country up to now. Because what he, as the president, should be doing is to show equality in feelings about whatever happens in any part of the country. But if a church is bombed, he visits that church, make a statement, make donation, and say some really nice things. But Maiduguri, he visited only once, and even that, he went there and insulted us.
Okay, Honorable Osun, because we're almost rounding up now, what would be your last take on this?
Well, my last take, honestly, is this, that it is time for people of Nigeria to talk and for people to identify their priorities. And this is the time to redefine the structure of the country. For federating units to identify what would better their lives. And for no authority to keep insisting that unless you know.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Allow you, Sani, I'm sorry, I can't, just a quick one.
Yes, really, the leadership should get committed to solving this problem, and the leadership from federal level to state level, and equip the army, as well as address the social injustice that is perpetrating this crisis.
Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers. We've come to the end of tonight's show. My take is we all together, we are in this together. We need to save those 25 girls from bondage and millions of Nigerians who are in bondage in northern Nigeria. It's been Politics with KO. We want to thank everyone, Ben TV, Tony, Victor, and Ngozi. Ngozi is not feeling fine, but we just want to say to her, get well soon from every one of us in the studio. Good night and God bless. May God save Nigeria if Nigerians can save Nigeria.
Buy your Nigerian merchandise. www.nigeria100.com. Contact us on +44 0208 808 8800.
Soon, in celebration of Nigeria's centenary year, Benti represents the first ever international comedy and DJ battle called the Battle of the Titans series. Team UK versus Team Nigeria.
The battle today. It's a battle. I'm hearing this. It's mainly Nigerians who tell you what's going on with my face.
This is 10-year-old Ganesh.